Fuck.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 12 of Confronting Our Thoughts. We are back. It is the Monday after Easter, so rightfully so. We all grew up in the Catholic Church, so happy Easter to everyone listening, as well as you two fine gentlemen on the other side of this camera. We'll start off by Luke. What were your Easter plans? What'd you do for the holiday, brother?
I just went home. Uh,
You go to church?
really, yeah, I went to church on Sunday, but
When
it's
was the
I'm
last time you went to
Orthodox.
church?
Dude, I haven't been to church in like 2 years. Well, I mean, I went overseas and I didn't go to like the chaplain church, so it was just like, yeah, I
But
didn't
you
go.
were still you were like going to church, like you were still every Sunday or whatever, like practicing your religion overseas.
No,
Okay.
no,
That's
yeah,
okay. There's nothing wrong
sorry,
with that.
I mean, you're
yeah.
talking to a guy. I don't even.
My
I couldn't tell you last.
my Bubba will be so disappointed, but yeah, my Easter's actually next week. I'm an Orthodox Christian, but
Oh,
I
sorry,
celebrate
sorry.
I celebrate both, so it's all right.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
double
weird. I don't
dip.
understand. Yeah, it's the same thing with well, I don't do the same thing with Christmas. Like Christmas is like January 7th for Orthodox, but I don't celebrate that crap.
Are you guys
Um,
still considered Christian? Are you
yeah,
Christian
it's
though? Okay,
Orthodox
so it is a
Christian.
form of Christianity.
Yeah, and they just
Okay,
study like a different calendar. I don't know. Like it's all everything's like the same. Uh, like like the whole storyline with the Bible and all that. So
cool.
yeah, I went to church on Sunday. Me, Rich, Cole, some of the guys. We all went to the bar on Friday. It was a good time. Just hung out. Everyone's home for Easter though, so it wasn't like anything crazy. Just went, had a couple of beers, had a good time. What about
Yeah,
you?
Z-Dubs.
Yeah, same.
Um, yesterday I went to like Williamsburg has this thing, like Second Sunday is what it's called. I don't know if any of you guys know what that is or heard of it.
It's like for Easter.
No, it's just like it's like a kind of a festival. Certain cities would do it. I know like South Carolina does one in Charleston. Before I moved here, I had no idea what Second Sunday was. Basically, it's the second Sunday of every month in
Uh,
certain times. Obviously, not in the winter, but they just started up last month, and this was the second one. And it's a bunch of like vendors of people in the community, like local businesses, artists, and musicians, and food and stuff like that. And they just set up on like the streets of Williamsburg. And my girlfriend and I just went and walked around. It was like 60 degrees out and sunny, so it was a really nice day. Got to walk around outside for a little bit. Yeah, and I think that was the main part of our day. Ran some errands, and she watched Optic with me. Watched Optic. Um, that was about it. Honestly, we had to catch up on some schoolwork too. We had some stuff due to today and this week in class, but
Have you got Madeline into
unfortunately,
some COD yet? Sorry. Did
oh
you get
yeah, yeah,
Madeline into
yeah.
some COD? Let's go.
Yeah, she
Is she
knows
playing?
she knows all the players. No, she's not playing. She knows all the players'
Uh,
names. She's with it. So yeah, she loves it. So getting her on that, I got her on the mic wave, got her on the COD wave. So starting off really good on that aspect. But unfortunately, didn't get to go home. But I'll be home in May, middle of May sometime. But yeah, stayed busy. But how about you, Tom? What did you do
well, I was just
specifically?
gonna ask, is it kind of like a almost like a farmer's market vibe, the whole like second Sunday thing, but it has obviously more than just like food. Is that
Yeah,
a
can you remind me of like what a farmer's market
so,
specifically? What you think of?
yeah, so literally like local like businesses just line it like on the streets. They'll like shut down a block and they'll just sell their product. And it's anywhere from just like out here, there's like a bunch of like coffee. They do sell like some art stuffs and arts and crafts and then like local food.
Yeah, yeah, they shut down like two or three blocks. And honestly, yesterday was packed for Easter Sunday. We've been to like two or three second Sundays before, and this one might have been the most packed I've seen it. And I was just surprised because it was Easter Sunday. But um, yeah, I mean, it's just good to get out and look at the shops. I did get I'm not into astrology or anything like that, but I do like bracelets. I got like a bracelet, little moon rock bracelet. It's supposed to be a grounding bracelet. I don't feel more grounded to the earth, but it's for fashion, so I wear it. But shout out Second Sunday for real. But yeah,
That's dope. Yeah, Yeah, those are cool. I don't really know why they're so like, yeah, it's just a kind of quality time. You just people watch and like look at things, walk around. It's always outside. I didn't really
Yeah,
know where I was
everyone always
going.
has like they
It's
bring their
cool.
dogs. Everyone's walking their dogs. It's
It's
just
such a good vibe.
community, just community
And you
building.
like support like I like, there's some people like their family sets up like a what's the word I'm looking for? Sets up like a not shop, sets up shop. Like a anyway, they rent like a section and they like set their stuff up and they sell it and it's like supporting the family and stuff. It's cool. It's really, really cool. It just feels good to put your money towards like the actual thing you can see or put your money towards. Yeah, it's just the idea of like a small business, but it's like the smallest business, because it's just like a couple times a month or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's literally the same. It's usually the same people, so you'll see the same
yeah,
shop set up. They just have like a little tent and this. It's a lot of jewelry, like
yeah.
custom. I see a lot of custom like wood making, like
Mhm.
custom like stuff like that. But honey, like seasonings, bracelets, flags. And then there's like food trucks. So I mean, yeah, it's just nice to have, especially when it's nice outside. So something
Did
to
you get
do.
any good food? Any good food?
Nah. We got like pizza last night. We're trying to save money on that, but it was the weekend, so we rewarded ourselves, spent a little money. So
There you go. Zach, I haven't been looking at plane tickets, by the way. Or, I mean, I have been, but I haven't seen any changes, I guess is what I should say. I don't know about what you
I
guys have.
haven't been keeping up on them, but I'm gonna be sure to buy before the end of May.
I think you'll be safe with that. Yeah, I think you'll be safe with that. And um, yeah, I think they're going to change a lot during May and stuff. Yeah, man, dude, I'll be honest with you. We had a 4-day, like, I had a 4-day weekend for work. So I was off Friday and today. And it literally rained every day, like
Mm.
substantially rain, just cloudy. It's tough. That's still kind of the way it is out here. It doesn't really get nice until May, June, just shitty. But with that being said, I did Saturday had a little friend brunch up in Seattle, so it was nice. Drove up there, stayed out there Saturday night. Um, just made my trip worthwhile. So yeah, we had a brunch, which was cool. I brought apple pie and vanilla ice cream, of course. Can't go wrong with that.
What about
And
the crown? Did you bring the crown?
I brought, yep, my liquor of choice was Crown Apple and Ginger Ale, of course. So it was cool. Just yeah, spent some time with some good friends, some good people, and then we went out to like a local bar down there for a couple hours, played some pool. I forgot how fun pool is. It's like a great it's not even considered a drinking game. It's just a great like game. I don't know. It's addicting.
Oh
It's hard
yeah.
Um
though.
like
I'm
yeah,
only good at iMessage. I'm really good at iMessage.
but you feel like once you realize that, it's all about angles. I mean, there's obviously so many higher levels than just a casual player that plays like whatever once or twice a couple week, like once a month. Um, but it is fun, and you kind of just like, well, this ball, if I hit it to like the left of this ball, it'll kind of go to the right a little bit. So you just kind of try your best, but it's fun. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I didn't do anything for Easter Sunday yesterday. I just drove back from Seattle, worked on some school. Like I said, I had aspirations this weekend of maybe doing a little backpacking trip since I had so many days off, but it was literally like not worth it the tiniest bit to go. It literally was raining all weekend. So it is what it is though. We're on the up and up soon. Hopefully, as far as the weather goes, it'll it'll like I said, get warmer and sunnier soon. But dude, you just don't realize until it's taken away from you how much the sun really impacts your mood. And I know I keep saying
Yeah.
that, and I think I've been here, it'll be 3 years this summer. But for the most part, for the winters, I would usually be traveling a lot for work. Um, and so I guess I didn't really like experience a full like winter slash like cloudy season out here. This is my first one. Dude, the shit's real. The shit is real. You just gotta like thank God I have a good exercise routine that can kind of get my mood up. But yeah, dude, I started like taking cold showers just to kind of get that extra energy in the morning. like listened to Andrew Huberman on Joe Rogan, and he was saying a lot about the different ways you can do cold exposure therapy that are still effective without having, spending a lot of money on a cold tub, or like, I can't just
Yeah.
filling up your bathtub for 20 minutes every morning. That takes so much time, and buying ice and shit. So anyway, I do like a 2-minute cold shower after my hot showers, and boom, it like gets me energized and ready for the day. So yeah.
Actually, yeah, I do. I do that after every shower. Just like I just do like cold plunge, but I don't think I do like 2 minutes, maybe a minute, but I don't time it. But it feels good to me. I'm like used to
Yeah.
it now. I just stand under there.
Yeah. So I was always kind of skeptical, because I was like, I don't know how cold it should be, but basically I've listened to so much of him kind of explaining on different podcasts, and people sharing their experiences with it. And the baseline is like, if it catches your breath and you're like, oh shit, I really want to get out of here, then it's cold enough. Like
Right.
that's the idea. And I think he says maybe like 10 minutes total a week, 10 to like 12 minutes total a week. So I do 2 minutes every morning. So that's 14 minutes a week. And like I said, you can divvy it up as much as you want. I just, yeah, it's just really nice. It just kind of gets me out of like a morning grog, especially with the weather. It's the weather here, that's like definitely needed. You got to you got to use as many different techniques as you can to just get your body right. Cause lack of sunshine here is tough.
I don't know I don't know like all the like the science on it, but isn't it just like if you just drop your body temperature like just a couple degrees, or if you raise it, like say you're in a sauna, like you release like the heat shock proteins or the cold shock proteins. Like I don't know all that much about it, but I've listened to a couple of podcasts about it. Like Andrew
Yeah.
Huberman said like the cold shock proteins, and then I forget, it was some lady on Joe Rogan. She was talking about the heat shock proteins in the sauna. I don't know. It was good. It was a lot of information.
Yeah. So I like to just yeah, if you type in Andrew Huberman, cold exposure therapy, you'll find a ton of information, practical information that you can use in your daily life. It's just, I know for us three and the vast majority of people, like younger people, with living situations and stuff, we don't have the accessibility to a cold, like an actual cold tub. So I like to just cold showers they aren't as effective, but they're definitely still very effective. So, and it's, everyone has access to cold water for the most part. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I don't want to be too down in the dumps about the weather, because you can't control it, but definitely has me
What's the
thinking
outlook? Sorry, go ahead.
no,
Is that you
it
thinking
just
of what?
definitely has my wheels turning as far as like, if I do want
Oh,
to
for
live
sure.
here, I don't know, whatever. I mean, we don't have to get too deep into that, because it's still a couple years out. But
Right.
no, it's real, dude. It's definitely real. But the crazy part is like when the summer comes, I know I'll just be like, oh fuck, this place is awesome, and I want to live here forever. But we'll see. We'll see.
What's the outlook for this
You,
week? Is it supposed to be nice?
No.
would you consider yourself like a beach guy or a mountain guy?
Dude,
More so.
I'm definitely a mountain guy, but
Yeah, but you say that because you've been living in Seattle, you think? Or
yeah,
like
yeah. I compare it to, so far I spent the majority of like my time away from, well, obviously Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania has like more like hills than mountains, Um, and then I spent a lot of months in Kentucky, Tennessee area where it's like very flat. Traveled to Texas, very flat. And then I've also, like I said, spent my time in Washington and even like Southern California, where there's like mountains and beach. And yeah, the mountains it's just the best feeling, hiking up a mountain during the day, getting a good workout due to your actual like physical hike, and then like seeing the views of the mountains, like breathtaking. And like there's so much to do out here when it comes to those activities. Like I talk about like backpacking, like I'm going to get a backpacking this summer, and all that means is basically hiking, and then hiking longer trails. So you actually like stay overnight um, on the on the trail itself. And so you're just able to get to kind of just deeper places in the woods that are like very heavily trafficked trails. Like I'm not like a big backcountry guy yet. But what I'm trying to say is that's an awesome activity that I found is like inexpensive. You can do it. It's obviously good for your body. It feels so great being in nature. And so what I've realized living here full circle is I always want to have that available in like where I live. So whether that's like here, Colorado, I think there's definitely some states on the East Coast that have a ton. I think like the Carolinas do. I mean, you can find it anywhere for the most part, but like Washington, Colorado, I mean Alaska, like they have like a shit ton of hiking trails or backpacking trails. So we'll see, man. But what that comes is like extreme weather. So out here, obviously, it rains a ton, and then in Colorado, it can be pretty brutal as far as the the winters can go, as far as like snow and hail and things like that. So it's it's definitely you kind of pick your poison in a sense. Obviously, the weather will way better down in California and like Virginia, North Carolina, more consistent weather, but you're not getting as much as like snow-peaked mountains and things like that, or snow-capped mountains and stuff. So, man, whatever it is, man, you can be happy. You can be happy or fucking depressed wherever you live. You just have to really find what gets your rocks off and try to implement that into your life for sure.
What about you, Zach? You a big mountain guy?
I,
Big mountain guy?
like I've been going back and forth with this because I do really enjoy the beach. I love going to the beach. And before, say, like maybe like 2, 3 years ago, I like didn't really like the sun that much. Like, so I was like, summer's cool, but like I'm a big like fall and like winter guy.
Mm.
So I thought, but then like moving to Virginia, and now I'm just like, after having a winter here, I'm just like, winter fucking sucks. Like I hate snow. There was no snow here, and I was just like, this is so much different than PA, and I actually love it. And now I'm like waiting for the warm weather to come and stay. It's like been off and on, like really hot here. It's like 80 a few
Oh,
days last week, but it's like back to like 40 right now. But I'm like waiting for the summer, and then like Virginia Beach is like an hour away. Um, but also when I went to Denver, I went to Denver twice, and I went to Colorado or Seattle like twice in my whole life, and it's usually like a week trip. I always like to hike and like be out in that aspect too. So I like a mixture of both. But the one thing for me about like Colorado, like you said, it's like extreme weather out there, and like now that I've been down here, like I guess in the south, I'm not like super south, but there's the snow, like the winter was just like non-existent from like, I mean, we're used to Pennsylvania. It was just crazy difference. And I'm just like, I hate snow now. Like I don't even want to clean my car off, like do anything like that. So
yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, I know it all. It's awesome to experience it's awesome to experience it, right? Like you're experiencing the beauty of the the southern part of the East Coast. We've all Luke's experiencing, like the Northeast. We've all experienced the Northeast. I'm experiencing the Northwest, and like you realize, yeah, there's pros and cons to everywhere you live. But just how good are the pros compared to the cons? Like out here, I know we talked about this before, but people are willing to spend just that much money for the summer. Like it's crazy. And there's a ton of water out here, right? So like my buddy lives on like a boat where he lives. Yeah, he literally lives on a boat. And then he just bought a boat where he can like kind of take out. And because he's not licensed to drive his home boat because it's so big. And anyway, he like loves being out in the water. And like, so that's an aspect where you can do that all year round. And so anyway, he said it's made living out here just that much better to where like during those gloomy days, like today, it's always warm enough to go out in the water and just, drive around the lake. And so, yeah, and then obviously the summers, it's just that much better driving on the water. Then you can hike and it's beautiful and stuff. So I get it, man. We'll see. I definitely want to spend some time. Definitely want to spend some time in Colorado, and then maybe like a week or two. I'm definitely going to do that. If not next year, during just anyway, I'm going to do it just to see, as far as when I want to make my next move is where I want to go out here. But yeah, like Luke, you've done a ton of traveling lately. Like what are your biggest takes away? I know you did a little bit in like the West with Chicago, in Chicago, and then you went to like the Carolinas, Tennessee. You've been out here already. You'll come out here this summer.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
I don't know. I definitely liked it during like I would say when it was warm, that would be nice. But like I hate the flat. I hate the flat. So when I was in
Mm.
high school, I did that big trip around the country.
Yeah.
That was really cool. My family took me. Yeah, we did 2 weeks of just traveling all sorts of places like national parks and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
Colorado was beautiful. Like I love the mountains. I'm a big mountain and lake guy. Like
Ah,
I get the beach, but I don't know. I think I'd save the beach for like vacations and stuff because sand, that's too much. Salt water, it gets in your mouth is all dry, it gets sunburned. That's too much. I'll leave it for the vacation. But yeah, I think definitely like the East Coast, maybe even West Coast. I don't know. I'd say that I like the Rocky Mountains, but that's a little too much. But yeah, dude, like when we were out there and just going out in the mountains, I mean, we didn't really like do well. Me and Lucas, we didn't do like any crazy hikes. We just saw some views and it was awesome. But yeah, like when I was down in like the Carolinas and I think it was during our spring break. It was like 80 degrees down there and it was like maybe in the 50s up here. I was just like, yeah, I'm moving here. And I
yeah,
think I said that in the one episode, like when I first came back. My roommate's cousin, he was like, yeah, you're 2 hours away from the mountains, 2 hours away from the coast, so it's like kind of a. And this was in Raleigh, so
yeah.
yeah, that was kind of like a prime location. But
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, give me a mountain in the background with some lakes. Go out on the boat. There's nothing better for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, Zach, I don't know if you know the story, but when Luke and Lucas came out here, I had to work the one day, and I was like, "Hey, listen, it's gonna be beautiful. I'll like go on. It's like a simple hike, like go out, like it's an hour drive from where we were staying. I was like, this is a perfect day, a perfect way to just spend your day, and then when I get off work, we'll meet up. And they're like, all right, bet. And they went there. They just went on the lake, and they just didn't do the hike. They just chilled out by the water, and I was like, when I came back from work, I was like, "Yo, how was the hike? Like, what are your pictures and stuff?" They sent me pictures of them not just on the ground, like not on the mountain. And I was like, "Well, you guys didn't go?" And they're like, "Oh no, dude, we just the lake and the mountains were beautiful. We just sat here." And obviously, there's more to that story that I'm not going to tell on the podcast, but
Oh
just due
yeah,
to anyway, but
yeah,
anyway, it was cool. It was I don't want to get Luke in trouble. So
yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah.
it was funny. And I was like, oh dude. But when you guys come out here August, we're gonna do a ton of hikes and you guys are gonna get
Oh, we're,
the full Washington experience. But like I said, it's gonna be skewed. I don't want to, I say that hopefully it's not 10 days of like it won't be that long. But I mean hopefully it's not gloomy, but it probably won't be in August. August are like the best months. But I think you guys are gonna maybe a little spoiled to the point where you're like, oh dude, this is gonna be awesome. And then come like December, it's like, oh shit, it's rained 7 days in a row. And I'm like, yeah, with
I could definitely.
those beautiful summer days, dude, it comes the gloomy months. So anyway, yeah, we kind of transitioned into this, dude. I was listening to a podcast, Theo Vaughn, and he asked the question. He was like, he was talking about being busy and like, in his mind, or objectively looking at the time he was spending, um, doing what he was doing. He's like, man, people would say like, man, look how productive I'm being, and look how, just look how many things I'm getting done. Like objectively, like, yeah, you're spending your time well. And then, but he had a different feeling about it, and he asked this question to himself. He was like, man, whose to-do list am I doing? And I know this is kind of a quick transition, but I just wanted to talk about this because we talk so much about these, making sure we're productive and how to do all these tasks throughout the day, and just making sure we're taking care of ourselves. And with all that being said, just had to remind myself this past week, and I guess I'm just explaining it on here. It's like, man, whose to-do list are you doing? And what I mean by that is like, I had to ask myself, am I living my life because this is the life that I want to live? Or am I living my life based off of what I think, like what other people are telling me that I should be living my life, right? Because we always talk about, all we're doing is talk about like, man, this guy said this is a great way to implement, or this guy, even with the cold showers, like, oh wait, implement this in your life, all these things which are important. But man, there needs to be a balance to that. And I asking myself this question is in like, whose to-do list am I doing? um it just, I don't know, it just got me thinking of like, man, let's just Tom fucking relax sometimes, and um like take some time and just do something that you want to do because it's what you want to do, like our so much of our time during this period of our lives is spent doing these things to make it to setting ourselves up for like a couple years down the road, and then we're set up for the next couple years, the next decade, and then like maybe we have a family and all these things. It's like, holy shit, are we like are you truly ever living like in the moment for yourself? And uh and I guess I just had a pretty big realization this past week of like, holy shit, dude, just make sure you're happy with what you're doing, instead of just constantly doing things because you think it's what you should be doing. Not that those are bad things, but I don't know. I just had to check myself is what I'm trying to get at. Like, and maybe if you guys haven't been feeling that lately too, because we're getting pretty busy, like a couple more weeks left of the semester. Um, and like, work's picking up for me here and things like that. I was just like, man, I gotta take some time and just live for myself sometimes, I guess is what I'm trying to say, instead of like my future self. And yeah, I don't know. You guys any
Do you have any like what were you doing that you weren't doing for yourself? Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I wasn't like upset at what I was doing. I guess I just when Theo Vaughn asked himself, like, man, whose to-do list am I doing? That like piqued my brain for some reason. And it sparked this idea and I like journaled about it. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I guess I just needed to remind myself that, yeah, I'm doing all these things that are like good for my health and I'm being a productive human being, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you should be doing in this time, just because you think it's objectively what you should be doing. Does that make sense? Like, I guess I want to spend some more time throughout my days, um, maybe just sitting and like watching a show or something. Like, I don't like I couldn't tell you last time I like sat down and watched a show. Like I did yesterday, but because I'm just so like I would know, I was just so caught up in like going to work and like working out and like making sure I'm eating right and making sure I'm reading in my free time. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, am I even like enjoying all this? Or am I just doing it because it makes me feel good? It was making me feel good because other people are saying that this feels good. Does that make sense? Rather than like, is it truly feeling good for me? And it does for the most part. But man, I just had to check myself a little bit. And I don't know, I guess I'm struggling with the balance a little bit is what I'm trying to say. And I think it's harder because with the weather and stuff, like it's hard to kind of go out and do some things. Um, I guess maybe it's just way easier to stay inside and just focus on school and like reading and things like that. But it's like, man, am I like enjoying life basically is what I'm trying to say. Am I really enjoying life?
like, does it have a purpose? Like, of like the things that you do, the cold shower, stuff like that. Like, you just want to set yourself up for like try to be healthy in the long run, or
Yeah, there's so many different aspects to it. One is like longevity of my health. Like I think that's one of the prime reasons I work out, and I really think anyone should be working
for
out is
sure.
for like come, when you're 50 or 60, 70. And some people might be like, dude, why are you thinking that far down the road? But when it comes to your health, like that is absolutely what I think you should be thinking about, when you're making decisions. Like one of the strong reasons why you should be working out and taking care of your health is so when you become like, God willing, 65, 70 years old, that you're still able to, play with your grandkids if you have them and like, go for a walk and like, at which these things
Not
we
be
don't
in
even think
pain.
about. We don't even think, yeah, not being like legit chronic pain and on like medications and all these things. And you're just like, basically like one pill at a time, one pill at a time. So, um, yeah, that's absolutely, yeah. I don't know. I guess I was just like, man, am I constantly living this life for my future self? Like, when am I going to live this life for my present self?
Do you guys like ever feel that you're just doing something to? You're like, I don't know why I'm doing this right now, but it's gonna pay off for me in the future. Like, Do you guys have any examples of that?
It's the reason I'm going to school.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
That's I
really
was about to
no,
say that too.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think we
like
all are,
I don't know what I'm gonna do like after I graduate. Like,
but I
I
think
don't
it
know.
feels good. Like it also, with all this being said, it feels good to be productive. Like I feel way better being productive than the extreme of the other side. Of it's like if I were to spend this 4-day weekend literally doing nothing but like watching TV and playing video games, which is like what the majority of people that I work with do, my age, and who don't have families and stuff. So I know, like, I'm like, all right, I know this is the way, what I should be doing, because it truly feels good. I just have to make sure I'm still keeping myself in balance with, like, I'm going to get into like spending time with like friends out here, and yeah.
Yeah. Do you think
So
like the stuff you were doing before, um, the stuff you were doing before, it sounds like, were you like saying like you have to do this, like certain thing, like you have to take a cold shower, you have to read, or was it like you looked forward to doing it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Like, was there times? Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
no, I mean, we'll kind of get away from the cold shower thing, because that's just like, uh, that's like 2 minutes. And I just, that wasn't necessarily what I was trying to get at when it came to, because it's like 2 minutes and like wakes me up. There's really kind of no downside to that. But really, it was just like those other things of like taking care of my nutrition, like, um, like I think spending time doing school and like also reading and doing all of these things for this person that I'm taking care of, that I'm trying to take care of. But is this person that I'm doing all this for, are they like, do they still want to do, am I doing these for the right reasons? I don't really know what that looks like or feels like. It feels good to do them, but I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No, I think you're thinking of like whatever examples you're thinking of, like that you should do them for your future self. But I
Yeah.
think what you want to get at is that you want to be like for certain that I want to do these things and not
Yes.
feel like I should do these things. That's like a it's like a cognitive distortion. We call it like you're shoulding yourself because you just say like I should do this, I should do that, and should's one of those terms, just like always, never. It's like all or nothing type of thing. So it's hard to change that, to reframe that to like I get to read, or like I get to go to the gym right now. It's hard to change that thought process. So I mean, you're not the only one struggling with that. I feel that way all the time too. But I mean, there's not much else to say about it besides like sometimes having those tough conversations with yourself, like looking in the mirror. It's just like, I mean, am I doing this because I want to, or is it because like I should be doing this? And I mean, the answer is most likely going to be like, I think I should do this, so I'm doing it. But like you said, stepping back, like, do I really want to do this? And if not, then maybe like try to spend your time doing something else, like you said, like watching a show or just like relaxing a little bit and not always being on the gas, like go, go, go.
Yeah, that you put it like perfectly, I guess, basic way to put it. Yeah, I guess I'm just scared. I think we all are in this time of our life. I'm scared to like look back at this time. I know you can't really live your life like this, but this is just the thoughts that are going through my mind. I'm scared to look past on these like six, these really, like, it'll be like 5 solid years of me, kind of like living this like this lifestyle, with like being in the military and going to school. Um, I'm just scared to look back and be like, dude, you were doing all of that for like this idea of a person, you know what I mean, in the future. Like I'm doing all this for my future self. Like, am I doing it for my present self though? Because that's what's most important, right? Like, like spending,
Yeah, you
whatever,
could. Yeah,
spending 8 hours on my weekends, 8, 9 hours on my weekends, taking these online classes for like my future self, right? Like, but am I doing it for like me, like this? Because the person who I am, the truly person who I am is this person in this moment, Um, and I don't know. And I'm thinking of basically what I'm checking is like, is this taken away from time I could be spending, like with my friends on the weekends? Like I can only, like, I would love to go up to Seattle for like the full weekend and spend it with my friends. Cause there's like my like social group is really like up there in a sense, like my free time, when I spend free time with people, it's like the people up there, I have like some pretty close friends up there. And basically I can only do it like once a weekend at once a day. I'm sorry, like once a week at most, right? Usually it's like once every 2 weeks, because I gotta like, the commute up there, which is just the way it is, but also like like spending time on school and things like that. And I just don't want to have regrets, man. Like, I don't want to look back on this time and be like, holy shit, dude, you spent so many hours during your free time. Um, kind of focus on something that you didn't even know was certain, which is scary. And I don't think I think it's scary for everyone. I think that's what the point of this chapter of our lives are, right? It's like kind of just taking a leap of faith and spending your time towards something that you don't necessarily have this perfect plan for. But just keep asking yourself if it feels right. And it does feel right, I guess, but there's just some days where it can be scary because you're spending
Yeah,
some
I
real
agree.
time and some real energy into this shit. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't something I just like, oh, I mean, we all feel that, like if you take your academics serious, which we all are, we have to in this point of our life. Zach's in a master's program, Luke's in an engineering program, one of like the top engineering schools in the country, like we can't just fucking, and we aren't those type of people as well, right? To just kind of just like fuck it and we'll just kind of survive through this, through this degree program or whatever. So anyway, with that comes the downside of that, if there is one, is like, man, I got to really make sure that this is something I want to do.
Yeah, I think it's just trying different things. And I mean, obviously, like with school, it's just a very long, thought out process. I mean, it's 4+ years, or if you go for your master's, like stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a long time, and just to sit back and some days you're just like, man, do I really want to be doing this? And I have these thoughts like all the time, but it's just a matter of, I mean, we're what, 23, so I mean, at the end of the day, we're just still really young and just trying to figure out who we are, what we want, and just want to try all these different things to figure out what's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Zach, I'm sure like you've been feeling that. I mean, because you're now, post undergrad and you're spending even more time um, and more energy into this, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to school, getting at what you're saying is like working towards the future of yourself. And if you go to school like college, that's exactly what you're doing because you can't use your degree until you have it. So you're working towards the future of what you're going to be able to do with what you're going to school for. I mean, I'm learning skills right now and becoming skilled, but I can't really get what I want until I graduate, which is like a license and whatnot and all that extra stuff. But if you put that much time into school, especially like college, you have to think about how far you like came. So like you
Mm,
said, like we're not just gonna say like fuck it. Like I mean, sure, there's days like I wasn't gonna go to class today, but it got canceled, so I was just destiny, I guess. But um, like there's days I'm just like I'm not going to class because I don't want to go. But like at the same time, it's also a very fine line. It's like, well, then what are you doing here if you're not going to spend your time like going to school? Because that's what you're doing. You're going to school and doing stuff like that. So, I mean, I kind of think of it as like, look how far I've came, and I'm kind of here for a reason, and I'm trying to take advantage of the opportunity that has been like afforded to me while I'm here, and kind of like one step in front of the other, and just living in the present. It's a constant reminder. I'm always reminding myself, like, stay in the present, like, stay in the moment, because I mean, you can look towards the future, but at the same time, it's uncertain. Like, you could be doing all these things, like you said, Tom, doing all these things to make yourself a better person for the future when you're 65, 70. Hopefully you can walk and play with your grandkids and things like that. But at the same time, you want to be in the present moment, hang out with friends, like do things that you want to do because you could die or get in an accident and be injured and not be able to do these same things that you're able to do now. You just don't know with life. So it's finding that balance. It's a very fine line. Um,
yeah, because we like us three talk about all the time. We're like, man, this is such a unique part of our life. We have really like minimal responsibilities in a relative sense, as far as like like you said, Zach, like you could have made a decision today to like not go to class and like you would have been fine, right? Like 20 years down the road, if you have kids or whatever, you can't just like, I'm not going to go to work today. It just doesn't, or I'm not gonna take my kids to school, or, whatever it may look like, right? It's just different responsibilities. There's a real consequence to your actions, right? So anyway, yeah, what I was trying to get at is like, we talk about that all the time, and it's like, man, are we really living? I ask myself this: am I really like taking advantage of this time? Like, am I just putting all of my energy and effort into like all these other things for my future self? But like my future self is just going to have more and more of these things to do, and it's like, I just, like you said, Zach, I think we just have to constantly remind ourselves to be present, and if that's taking time, and yeah, just taking time for yourself with friends, um, yeah,
I think another thing too is just like you committed to doing this thing, so you might as well just see it through. Just keep going and don't quit. I know
yeah,
there's like a ton of things that we all want to do, and I'm sure like we picture like, oh, I want to be doing this, this, and this, but like at the end of the day, like you committed to getting this degree or want to get this job or whatever, and you're doing all this training for it. Just don't quit and just see it through.
yeah. Yeah, I think it just gets, we don't have that clear path in mind, which, like, I don't know if anyone really has a clear path in mind, right? Like, that's not realistic, because life is going to happen to us, and that clear path is definitely going to get, way less clear as life happens. Um, but yeah, so I guess when that path that was once very clear gets blurry, you can start really questioning what you're doing. And I think everyone goes through that when they're trying to accomplish a goal, everyone. I think the difference between the people that fall through with their plans and actually finish what they started, they get through these thoughts that we're having, right? They don't let these thoughts kind of overcome what they had in mind in the first place.
It's because I think they think of their why, their reason
Yeah.
for starting in the first place. But I mean,
Mm.
to find your why is that's one of the most difficult questions to ask yourself.
Yeah, because your why like changes so much throughout that, right? You're like, all right, I'm gonna do this for this reason why, a month, 6 months down the road, that reason why might have changed completely, or you just kind of maybe even forgot about it. And I think that's a great point, Zach, just to like, maybe this is a reminder for all of us, definitely for me, to just like, let's go back to our reason why. And yeah, so I guess that's just something I need to remind myself today.
Yeah, the why can change. I like that too
Mm,
because mine for what I thought I was coming into like I guess helping profession. It's like simple,
mm,
like I want to help people, but it's like so far from it. It's
yeah.
like such a cliche answer, and that's not my actual why, and I'm still searching for my because I think my why is like so much deeper that I haven't scratched it just yet, if that makes sense. I feel like saying like, I'm just so empathetic or interested in people. It's just like surface level. So I'm not sure what my why is yet for what I'm doing this schooling for, but I know I enjoy it and the process. So that's enough for me to like keep myself going. But I know there's a deeper reason and passion for why I've went through 4 years. Plus, I'm gonna go for another 2 years in this program. So that's kind of what I go back to for right now.
Yeah. Listen, I guess we can kind of wrap, maybe wrap this discussion up on this topic if we want, by simply putting it as in, if this was easy, if chasing something that you want is, if it was easy, then everyone would be getting things that they once desired, right? Like, it's not this linear progression of just like, yep, 8 months I had this vision, I had this goal, 8 months later I got it. Every day was spent, just a linear progression of life of completing, and in our world, like a degree plan or a semester at pi semester, or, for me, like a year in service, another year in service, just like gradual, like I said, progression, then everyone would do it. And that's just not the reality. So just a reminder for ourselves, for the listeners, that, um, one, that it's okay to question it because that's natural for us to do. But more importantly, make sure you're staying true to yourself. Because I think, Zach, like in your situation, your true self is someone who is someone who enjoys being there for others, and what that looks like for you right now is completing, completing these educational goals so you can be more credible to be there for others, and yeah, and obviously that's a very simple way to put it, and I don't mean to be naive about your situation, but that's what it comes down to, right? Like, that's the system that you're in. You need these, credentials to be, certified to help people, in the best of your ability. And also, like, this isn't necessarily something you need to do for the rest of your life either, like, I don't, like, not that you should be thinking about that, but like, life changes, and like, if this feels right in this moment to keep doing this, then just keep doing it. And
I think I saw something. I forget who it was the other day, but it was they were like talking about, oh, when I get too high, I don't want to be like happy like all the time, and like when I'm too low, I don't want to be sad. But like someone explained it to me, well, not to me, but like in the video, they were like, you, it's like on a like one of those heart monitors, like it goes up
mm,
and down, but when it's flat, like say like you don't want to be too, you don't want to be happy, you don't want to be sad, then you're just in the middle, but you're just dead. Like that's just flatlining. Like that's just
yeah,
crazy. Think about it.
yeah,
Like you're supposed to be high, have your highs and have your struggles and have your lows.
yeah, I guess,
So yeah,
looking at the glass half full in every situation, it's like, man, at least we're having organic feelings. You know what I mean? I'd much rather have these feelings and be so just naive to my life that I'm just like basically daydreaming, just daydreaming through my days and weeks and months, to the point where I look back and I'm just like, holy shit, what the hell have I been doing? At least I guess I'm grateful that I'm able to constantly, just think about what I'm putting my effort and actions towards. And what comes with that thinking a lot, and I guess deep thinking about what you're doing, is that you question a lot of things. You question the society, you question yourself. And when you ask yourself questions, sometimes, unfortunately, you don't have the answers to those. And you're always not going to have the answers to all your questions, but I think it's important to just keep asking questions, um, and just keep being curious in your own life. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's, it's important to ask yourself those questions, so then you can make sure you're reminding yourself about, the reason that you're doing what you're doing, for sure. So yeah. Um, Next, I just wanted to talk about, we talked about like social groups and people, and I just wrote down, man, like, it's crazy how important people are in your life. Like, what I mean, and what I'm saying in a practical sense of, like, real world shit. It was just like, man, uh, I'm just grateful, I guess, to have people that I love spending time with, whether that's you guys. Oh, definitely you guys. And, um, yeah, I didn't know really what I want to talk too much about this idea, but because I know we've talked about relationships in the past, but, uh, I don't know, just I'm so grateful that I got to spend like real time with like real people in my life, because that's made me the happiest I've ever been. Like this, like I said, where we got on today, I was just like, dude, I need this. I just need to talk to you guys. Um, and it's not that I'm like super sad or happy or anything. It's just like, man, I love like social interaction. And obviously this isn't the most personal we can get, but it's way better than, a text message here or there, or yeah, or what have you. But I don't know, like, Zach, I know, it's like you and your girl right now, but not, and that's obviously a good thing as well. But, um, when you look back of your life, like, how much do you think that people played an impact on who you are today?
I I would say a big part because for me personally, I've had the same friend group probably I would say consistent friend group since sophomore, junior year of high school that has stuck with me throughout my college years and now it's still with me today that I keep in contact with. So I think for me, it's having that core group of people that I can turn to when I'm, it doesn't necessarily need to be feeling down or feeling bad. It's just like trying to like touch base and communicate. Like you said, like getting on here and just communicating with you guys is just one of those things. It's just like feels good and I want to do it. Obviously, I'd rather be like face to face, but there's people in my life that have been there for years that I feel comfortable not talking to for whether that be weeks or months. But then when we do talk, it's just like nothing changed, and I think that just goes to show the importance of having people in your life that want the best for you, but also realize that you have shit going on that you're chasing and stuff like that. So I think for me, people people played a huge role in like shaping me to who I am because I've seen how our interactions have gone and the way that our friendships have kind of molded one another. Because a lot of my friends, including you guys, like we have like these deep conversations that are real and about life, and they challenge my own like views, my own perspectives, and they also inspire me to make change in my own life. So having people like that inspire you and push you to be a better person is very influential in your own life.
Luke, do you have anything to add to that, or something in your?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just Zach pretty much hit it right on the spot. It was nice, like when I went home this weekend, and I didn't realize this till like maybe Sunday, but I was just like, man, I really needed just a time to slow down. Like up here, like going to school was just school, work, and then going out on the weekend with my friends up here. But just going back home and seeing like Richard and like Lucas, all those guys, just guys we grew up around, and it just like slows down and being around my family. Just me and my dad, we went out fishing. And I was just like, man, we went for like 4 hours, and I was just like, man, where did the time go? It was just a good time, and I don't know, it was fun. It's nice to go back to the roots and back to just slowing things down, just from because like growing up in a small town, like you're just isolated in that. But like when you get out, it's just things just happen so fast. Like it feels like just life just goes by. But it's nice to just kind of get that new perspective and just and the things with like your friends and stuff. Like those guys, like the main core group that we have. Like it's just nice to, like Zach said, like you might not talk to them for a while, but like as soon as you start talking to them again, it's just automatic. It's right back to, hey man, what's up, and you know exactly what's going on with them, and it's just all good vibes.
Yeah, we opened this conversation or this episode up with with like saying where we would live, and I literally would trade. I would trade all of that to be in a place where we could all like be together,
Yeah,
and but yeah, and I like really
yeah,
mean that. I like wherever it was in the world. If it was like, hey, but you could be with like, your 3 or 4 closest friends. And I would be like, oh yeah, I literally I would go anywhere, and like obviously you guys can all be doing something that you genuinely enjoy or, just, live a life. But we talked about this a ton off camera of like, yo, is there ever a chance where, if you think there would be a possibility in the near future where we could, get like spend time in the same location together, whether that's like certain people working remote or whatever it may be, right? And like it's fun to think about that stuff, but I like definitely want to just think if that's a possibility. And the reasoning because is I think I know we've all experienced, living maybe like moving somewhere and not knowing anyone and just realizing how important like a solid social group is in your life. And I want to like emphasize the meaning like solid support group in your life, right? Not just people that you can stand being around, but people that you can have real experiences with, real conversations, and not, that sounds very serious, but just people that you can connect with, right? Like that's so rare to so yeah, it's just very rare to find, right? Like you and so what I'm trying to get at is like I I miss that right now in my life because I only get like a taste of that, like I said, like once every couple weeks. Um and like I would trade anything to be in a location where I could get that like multiple times a week. And when I was gonna get that, just spending time with, just having, spending time with people that I truly, truly enjoy being around. Um and yeah, I don't know, because I think in this day and age, we like glorify the idea of being alone and in solitude, and we talked about it a ton, like how important it is to spend time with yourself, and I still agree with that. But with that being said, it's almost just as important as spending time with quality people. I would argue it's more important to spend time with quality people. But you don't have one without the other, because I think when you spend time with yourself, you know what you truly enjoy, and with that comes you know what you truly, the type of people that you truly enjoy being around. And so therefore you can get, therefore you can get out and like see what attracts you, and or should I say, what attracts you in people. And yeah.
I think like the biggest thing too for like, especially for me, like, dude, I love that vision. Like, I want that so bad. And like, I think about this all the time. It's like, man, I hate being around like people that I feel like I just gotta please. Like, if I don't please them, then it's just like, man, we're not really like friends, you know? Like with you guys, like I know I can be held accountable, and it's not something, I forget where I was like trying to go with this. Like I had the thought in my mind, but
Just make way
yeah,
less
it's just,
effort.
oh, for sure. Just like you don't have to worry about, oh, if I don't do this, then these people aren't gonna like me. It's just like, no, I know like who you guys are, and yeah,
Yeah, and I like, it's it was a weird way to put it, but like I think we just got so spoiled, you know, like that's a weird word, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like we've experienced like real friendship early in our lives, and obviously that's an amazing reality to have. But with that, you understand what it feels like to not have real friendship, and to just be with people because it's better than like spending a night alone,
mm,
because whenever people say like I like pride myself on being able to spend nights alone, and like still being happy. And that's important, but also I know how good it feels to like, I'm a social person just like anyone. Or as much as anyone, and I enjoy being around people and having conversations and things like that. But like Luke, what you said, with that comes the realization of like, man, not everyone, I can't relate as closely to everyone as maybe I would like.
yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. That sucks. That sucks. But who knows? I mean, I don't know. Life is it's a small world. I think I don't want to look too far ahead, but I definitely want to give a real effort and try. I'm willing to have a real conversation with, you guys, and a couple of our friends about the reality of maybe if we were to try something where we could spend, whether it's just like 6 months or whatever, in the same location, just due to our job situations or whatever. Um, anyway, I mean, that's just fun stuff to think about, but we obviously can definitely have that conversation when it comes, because the reality is like, it's not, too abnormal to find a job, to find a fully remote job.
Oh,
And
anymore
with
these days,
that,
no.
with that comes, basically, living where you want while still making a consistent living that you enjoy doing. So I don't know. We'll see. But the point of this conversation um, isn't to find a way for us to all live together, but we've all felt the impact of having a solid group of people around you, or just a solid person around you daily.
And like that's where like I get off track. I'm like, man, like I think about that like a lot. I'm like, man, this would be like so cool. Just like have all the guys, like literally my best friends, like we're all just around and we're doing the things we want to do. And But yeah, like I think about it way too often where I'm just like, yeah, I want this so bad right now. And like I'm like, I don't want to be in the position where I'm at because I want to be living that right now. And that's where I get stuck, like thinking wise. But that's where I have to like come down and just realize like I'm doing this because I want to achieve that, even though I want that right now. So yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's a time where we're doing this podcast all together for
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That's why I talk to Lucas all the time. I get it because like he gets the frustration too. It's like we just all just want to go and like go places, and yeah, it's just it's hard just wanting the future now. Yeah, I guess I'll say that.
Yeah, I think that's the majority of what this talk was about is just trusting, just trusting the moment that we're in. And what I mean by trusting it is that just believing that it's what we're supposed to be doing right now because it's what we're doing right now, right? Like we're all living these situations where we have our days that we question things, and at the bottom of the line is that we have to trust that this is for a reason. And I believe that, with everything I talked about today, and I think we all talked about today, the questioning, the doubting, all of that's real, but just as real, if not more real, is I do enjoy my days. Generally, I enjoy what I'm doing. And because it feels good, and it challenges me in a good way. And I'm learning about myself. I'm also learning about I'm learning about things that I'm passionate about as well. So like, and this might sound crazy, and I don't mean to like one up myself, but there's not a lot of people that can say that, you know? And so I think for all of us, we can maybe wrap this whole thing up by just understanding, how lucky we are to be in a situation, um, like ours.
Oh, absolutely. That, and there's like
Yep.
a reason why we well not necessarily think the same, but like we all have similar ideas or just like similar like thought processes and stuff like that. It's just there's a reason behind it. We might not know why yet, but I feel like we just keep the faith in the process, and the it'll reveal itself as the time comes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's meant to be will be.
For
Exactly.
sure. Fellas, believe it or not, that's a little over an hour. If you guys have any last words for this episode, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Yeah, just remember that where you're at right now is a part of the journey. And one day you'll look back and think about what you were feeling in that moment. And anyway, it's just gonna add up to who you're gonna be in the futures.
Okay, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 12. Yeah, we appreciate you guys like always. Zach, Luke, I appreciate you guys like always. And I needed this as much as more than you guys realize today. So thank you guys, and we will see you guys next episode. Peace.